Cold in July.
That's the name of the movie. The director is here, Jim Mickle. And
I'm guessing it makes sense when you see the movie. Oh, Cold in July. I see.
Film noir. That's how it's described in the. And would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, it's a lot of different things. It's yeah, I would say the root genre is noir, but the fun of it is that it morphs into a lot of different things.
We're recording this early on a Sunday morning, and you had a late night, so I want to thank you very much for being here.
It was your premiere last night.
It was our premiere last night,
You have really good people in this movie.
Yes.
You have
Great
Michael C. Hall.
Yes.
Who is people will probably know best as Dexter.
Yes, and 6 Feet Under.
6 Feet Under, which I think that's probably where...
That's where I first
saw him?
I think that's where I first saw him, yeah.
And Sam Shepard, who I, of course, first knew as a Holy Modal Rounder in the band Holy Modal Rounders. And when I was a kid, I saw this movie called Zabriskie Point.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
I think he wrote the screenplay for that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he's just this legendary...
He's a prolific man.
Playwright and actor, and I
Zabriskie
acted in one of his plays called True West, and he's just this, and he's in August Osage County right now. How did you get these people to be in Jim Mickle's movie Cold in July?
I don't know. If I knew, I would put it in a bottle and try it again.
Did you just ask them?
Yeah. Michael. I don't know. We've been working on this for a long time, and we'd actually sent it to Sam Shepard 4 years ago, and never heard back from him, and so I don't know. What happened was last year we were here with a film called We Are What We Are. It played in the midnight category, and out of that, I actually met Michael at a party here last year, and he had read the script and liked it, and we connected and drunkenly hugged and said, let's do this movie, and then thinking it'll never actually happen, and then it did, and then it was a little bit of he's an actor magnet, so once we had him, the other guys actually returned the phone calls and read the script,
and then Don Johnson.
Of
course, Don Johnson will be in anything. He's in Machete. So,
but he's so good in Django Unchained.
He is.
He is so good in that.
And he's amazing.
And when he is in, I mean, when Don Johnson puts his mind to it, he's really good in.
He's fantastic.
I mean, he is a really good actor.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what this movie's about, though.
Talk about what it's about.
It's set in 1989 in East Texas, and it's about a guy, Michael, who wakes up in the middle of the night to find a burglar in his house, and he shoots the guy in self-defense by accident, and then finds out that the guy's father has just gotten out of prison, and he comes to town looking for revenge against Michael's son. And
well, if he'd raised his boy better, he wouldn't have been breaking into the house.
That is one of the essences of the film. But
so
from
you shot my kid. Yeah. I'm going to shoot your kid.
Yes,
that's the deal.
Yes.
Okay,
but from there it flips itself 3 or 4 more times into a lot of different things. So the ending will be nowhere expected from the beginning.
And did you wrote the screenplay as well?
I adapted it. My writing partner Nick D'Amici, who's we've done 4 films together. He's also acted in all of them. He's a fantastic actor, fantastic writer. We adapted this, 6 years ago, and been trucking away on it ever since. Yeah.
Talk about that process a little bit for people who are, we get people listening to these interviews who want to make films. They want to do what you're doing right now, and just that idea of sticking with it.
Yeah.
That's really what deters people. People have great ideas for movies.
Yeah.
And
it's hard. It's impossible.
I mean, goddamn, the process just kills you, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, 3 times I lost my faith in this completely and said, even told the producers who had been sticking with it, I can't
do it.
I can't take. I described this for a long time as like a really terrible relationship, like this really unhealthy romantic relationship, where it was like I was in love with something that could never be, and and it was actually making the project worse, and it was making my life worse, just wanting this, but. It's really, 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 really hard, and we've done 3 horror films before this, and horror is a much easier genre because financiers will look at it and say, I can, at the lowest common denominator, I can, sell it on its horror merits, and this is not that, and so a lot of other factors come into play. You need actors, you need names that are going to get money people excited, and it's a tough catch-22 because you can't get the actors unless you have the money. You can't get the money unless you have the actors, and so you play that dance for a long, long, long time until one of those things actually clicks at the right time.
And are you working on many things at once and not sure which one of them's going to take?
At first I wasn't, and this taught me to, because I would have this. In all honesty, we'd send this out to an actor, and you would wait for 3 months to find out if they had even read it. So it's you send it out, and you're not going to change it because you don't know if someone's read it. So you sit on your hands for 3 months and wonder, and ultimately find out that they're passing and never even hear if they even read it. It's a crushingly crushing business. So it taught me to do a lot of other things, but that's tough because part of doing a movie, or one of the reasons why you do it, is because you're passionate about something, and that's what kind of gets you through it. So it's also hard to it's like being asked to sort of date, not to use the romantic relationship thing. It's like being asked to fall in love and date 5 or 6 different people.
I prefer these to baseball metaphors. I'd rather have this. It makes more sense.
Yeah, it really is much better. And then you get all those things together, and then you just wait for maybe lightning to strike, and life is created. You mentioned you made 3 other horror movies, which were. Would people know those? What are those?
We Are What We Are was here last year in Midnight, and did incredibly well. It just came out on video last week. Before that, a film called Stakeland, which I believe is on Showtime all the time now, or so my friends say when they text me multiple times a day. Our first film was called Mulberry Street, and it was a very low budget, kind of quasi zombie film set in Lower East Side, New York.
On Mulberry Street.
On Mulberry Street.
To think that I saw it on Mulberry Street.
And we did that. We did that kind of like, let's try this. We were fed up. I'd been working in the business for a long time, but couldn't get my own film off the ground. And the same thing for Nick, my partner. And we said, at the very least, let's just shoot something, and maybe someone will respond to it. And we ended up making a film that did very, very well, and it's kind of snowballed and grown to now.
So how did the premiere of Cold in July go last night?
It was great. I was describing it on the way over here. It's, holding your breath for a year, not knowing if people are going to respond, and being proud of it, and learning to be proud even if other people don't immediately connect. But it went over pretty raucously and wildly, successfully. We're all very happy.
And there was a big party last night. Which is why Michael C. Hall and Sam Shepard aren't here.
we were foolish to think that they would be.
No matter
you got
what time.
me.
Well, listen, we're happy.
You got a hungover director.
We're happy to have you. My friend Zach came up here hoping to see Michael C. Hall, and he got the director. But that's okay.
He's been near Michael C. Hall. Dexter has hugged him.
This guy and his wife are like just huge Dexter fans, as many people are.
He'll be here. He's here till Tuesday. He'll be floating around.
Yeah, hang around. You'll see him on the
Walk
street.
up and down the street all day.
Yeah.
Dexter!
Yeah, he responds to that. If you just call his name, he usually comes out from wherever.
You know how he'll respond to it? If you kill somebody that shouldn't have been killed, he will come right the wrong with you. He'll come find you.
I suspect he's a nice guy, and one of those guys who will just, if you say, hey, he'll talk to you for a second.
Yes. Somebody yesterday came up and said, will you, I'm proposing to my fiance, will you hand the ring to her when I get on my knees? And he did it, and I witnessed it. And I was like, did you guys act this out beforehand? Does this just happen to you? People come up and say, will you hand the ring to my fiance as I propose to her? So that was a surreal experience. So I've witnessed, I don't spend a lot of time with him, but I've witnessed things in celebrity culture of the things that you get asked to do off the street. Blows my mind.
Could I ask you, because and this is kind of a fanboy question about Sam Shepard, because I've known who he is for so many years. What is that guy really like?
He's kind of the character that you would expect of him, and I think the thing that's interesting is he's searching. He's you get that in his plays, and you get that in his performances, and in his music and everything. He's somebody described him as a cowboy intellectual, and I think that's great. He's he always seems to be searching for something, whatever it is. And in the time that I've known him, I've seen him have a couple of themes that he's really interested in and that he talks about really fluently. And you can see I'm not a writer. I can edit and I can get involved, but you can just see the mind of somebody, a great thinker, and somebody who kind of struggles with it, because he's during the time of the shoot especially, he plays a pretty rough character, and I think a lot of that carried over to who he was. And for the first 4 days of the shoot, I was terrified of him. I'd come up and I think the first couple days we had him in some really rough scenes. So he'd come up and be like, "That was great, Mr. Shepard," and
like you're going to tell Sam Shepard what to do.
Yeah. And he didn't. His character and Michael, they have an odd relationship. So I think he didn't make eye contact with Michael on screen for like 2 or 3 weeks or something. So but he's incredibly sweet and incredibly thoughtful and thankful and he's everything you'd want him to be. He's a cool man.
Jim Mickle, the director of Cold in July. So how long has this movie actually been done?
Like a week,
Really? So you haven't had a chance to work on anything else?
No.
So the first time people saw it was last night.
I had only seen it once all the way through before last week, just to ship it off here and make sure that there was no glitches.
That is pretty scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Who did the editing on it?
An editor named John Paul Horstman, and up until now I've edited the 3 films before, and then this one we did together because we are here last year. We went to the Cannes Film Festival. That also we finished that and got back in June, and we shot this film in August of this year. So we had a very protracted schedule to put it together. So it was sort of a tag team effort to get it all done, and it was my first time working with an editor, which was a cool experience.
And so do you know what's next for you?
I don't. No, I don't. A lot of talking at the party last night of, what we got to do next, and I hope they all remember it when they wake up.
You hope they remember your name.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean? Remember we were going to do that big,
Well, listen, Cold in July, I would assume we're going to see this. We will see it. We'll see it in theaters.
There's still screenings available, too, if you want to see it.
Screening tomorrow. There's one Thursday, I think
Monday,
one Saturday.
Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday.
Yep.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. There's let's see, is there some downtown?
There is. Let's see.
Salt Lake Library.
Yes, City Library. Is that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Salt Lake Library. 9:15 p.m. on Monday.
Yeah. So anyway, just I'm glad it was a success last night, and way to go.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks for getting up and coming and saying hi, and tell Michael C. Hall and Sam Shepard we think they're pussies for not being here.
when they come burst in the door. You'll know
oh no, we didn't mean it.
They're on the stairs right now, and they just turned around and walked.
When you hear a sawed-off shotgun cock in the periphery.
It's Cold in July. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks, guys.